Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance from the house of Gucci. This one's an old one, was released in 1998. It's none other than Gucci's Envy for Men. Here's the bottle. This one, again, is actually discontinued. It's no longer available. You can't buy it, at least at a retail store anywhere, but you can find it at plenty of places online. It is a little bit more expensive, especially when you see it auctioned off. I've seen it go for around anywhere between like $100 and $300. It depends on where you've seen it. But yes, I've definitely seen it for a varying amount of prices. The other thing you want to be careful of is that there are also a lot of fakes going around of it. It still is a relatively quite popular fragrance, despite the fact that, you know, it's been out for such a long time. It gets a lot of positive press for it, and, you know, the fact that it goes for that much, at least authentic versions, goes between $100 and $300, pretty much attests to the fact that, you know, it stood the test of time. People still love it, but again, not offered anywhere. So this is what the presentation looks like. It has, this big thing is basically a cap, and it's got the Gucci Envy for Men kind of sticking out of the bottle. You can't really, actually you can see it a little bit better if I go like this, but it's actually green liquid, almost closer to a little bit of a neon green type look to it. But the cap comes off, and it's a plastic cap, so it's got really nothing, and if you hit it really hard, it'll probably crack. And here's the bottle, which isn't that big compared to it, right? So pretty standard. This is actually the 100 milliliter. I believe there's a 50 milliliter that comes out for this fragrance as well. So let's get on to the notes for this. The notes. Top consists of mandarin, coriander, pepper, rosewood, ginger, and lavender. The mid, rose, jasmine, and carnation. And the base consists of sandalwood and cedarwood. So, looking at the fragrance, it's got a lot of floral notes that are in the mid. It has a little bit of a citrus at the top, and it looks like it has woods at the base. So, essentially what this fragrance smells like is a spicy, woody fragrance that kind of has a bit of a citrus kick to it at the very top of it, but at the very base, it's really a spicy, woody fragrance. This fragrance really smells like, if you've ever smelled Barbasol. Barbasol is a shaving cream. It's the shaving cream that comes in, you know, the generic-looking can, but it's a pretty well-known shaving cream. It's very base, very generic, and it has that shaving cream type of a feel to it, type of a smell to it, and that's really what this fragrance actually reminds me, and it reminds me of a more refined version of that same Barbasol type like smell. So it has this generic feel. Now, when I say generic, I really want to caution people. I've used generic for fragrances like Bleu de Chanel. Just because I say generic doesn't mean that I'm calling it bad or calling it, you know, low quality or anything like that. That's not what I mean. What I mean by generic is more an everyday type of a smell. A fragrance that not necessarily jumps out at people in terms of its uniqueness. It's more generic in terms of its the fragrance composition, in terms of the smell. So it's not wholly unique, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing. Anytime I use the word generic, you can automatically assume that it's something that's very safe for work, that it's very safe for, you know, wearing out, very pleasant smelling, that almost most people that you come across are gonna like the smell. And that's really what I mean by generic. So it's creamy, it has a creamy type of vibe to it, it's smooth, it has definitely a spicy kick to it, like I said. So spicy, woody fragrance that has a creaminess to it that really makes it stand out in its own way, while at the same time being generic. Kind of has that dual side to it, and that's really what I like about this fragrance. Now, any age group can really wear this one. I can definitely see teenagers wearing it, up to older people wearing it. When I apply it, I go about 3 sprays. One to the chest, and usually one on both wrists. I don't really spray my head with this one just because it kind of reminds me, it kind of gets a little bit too cloying for me on this one. Which brings me to the season that I think you should wear it, which is, I think it's great for fall, I think it's great for winter. I would kind of be careful with it during the spring and during the summer when it gets a lot warmer out. It's still definitely wearable during that time, just not ideal in my opinion. That said, I think it would be great for a summer night. Actually, it is great for summer nights when it gets a little bit cooler. You know, it's a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed. that's another place where this fragrance really shines for it. The performance of the fragrance is great. It has very good projection, has very good sillage. It'll leave a nice little scent trail behind you, and the longevity, at least on me, is about 11 hours. And even after that 11 hours, it kind of leaves off this, a little bit of a scent, I would say, like memory for it. So it's not going to be projecting like crazy. It's not going to have sillage like crazy at that point, but at the same time, people are still going to smell you if they get right up to you and, smell you basically, and can really smell you if you're really close. That's about it. So in the occasion, I would definitely say it's for work, casual. You really can wear this. This is the type of fragrance you can really wear anywhere. Its genericness kind of gives it this versatility to it that really allows you to wear this pretty much anywhere at all. Now, people's opinions of this fragrance were pretty positive. 75 people liked it, 10 people disliked it, and 15 people thought, well, it was neutral. And I actually went a little bit higher on this. I just went straight for much, but either way. The people who liked it, they said it was clean, that it was professional, that it smelled like you just came out of a barbershop. So there were all people who did get a barbershop type feel from it. People who didn't like it said that it was boring, said that it was a little bit too clinical, basically. They said that it kind of smelled like a doctor's office, is what actually a couple people said. So that may be one thing to keep in mind of. And of the people that were neutral, they were kind of mixed in between both. But none of the neutral people actually said that it smelled clinical or anything like that. They just said, meh, it doesn't really do it for them, but it doesn't smell bad, right? So personally, I give this fragrance a rating of a 7 out of 10. I give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a solid fragrance. I think it's a good fragrance. If you're looking for something for the fall, for the winter, definitely something you want to look into. If you're a fan of spicy fragrances that are a little bit, that may have a little bit more of a mature vibe. If you've smelled like the Barbasol, or if you've been to a barbershop and smelled those type of scents that kind of come out of there, then you definitely want to take a look at this one. However, if you're looking for something a little bit more daring, if you're looking for something a little more stand-out-ish, in other words, something that's going to set you from the pack, then you probably want to look in a different direction than this. This may not suit your needs, may not suit something that you actually want, okay? So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, leave me a message, leave me a note down below. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and have a great day.